Hello, everyone. I'm Raluca Hanea, and as an attorney, I provide immigration, estate planning, and family law services for my clients. Nina Clear is my marketing and office manager, and she's here with me. We really appreciate all your likes, shares, and comments as they help others to see our videos.
Oh,
So
today,
we are going to talk about 3 ways to get a green card. I get many calls from people who call me asking for help, and they don't know how they can obtain a green card. Unfortunately, it is not possible for everyone. So I thought we could talk about when it is possible, as well as give you a few tips when you're applying for a green card.
so tell us about the ways, and then maybe you can give us information about each one.
Sure. So there are very broadly 3 categories of ways to get a green card. So one is family-based. The second one is employer-based. And the third one is through special programs. And within each of those 3 are several options as well.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, for family-based, you might be able to be sponsored by your parents, siblings, or a spouse.
So not extended family like aunts, uncles, or cousins.
Unfortunately not.
And I also did not hear you mention friends.
No, we do have people call us often and tell us a friend is willing to sponsor them. Unfortunately, friends cannot sponsor you to get a green card. They may be able to be may be able to sign a financial affidavit, but they have to join your family in that. So unless you're a fiance, and then the fiance would sponsor you for a fiance visa or spouse. So they cannot sponsor you for a green card, just to help your family to sponsor you.
And the reason is a fiance is a friend, hopefully is your friend. So
yes.
That would really be the only type of friend that
yes.
could sponsor you.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. But you did say your parents, your siblings, or your spouse can sponsor you.
Yes. If you are an unmarried son or daughter of a U.S. citizen, they can sponsor you.
And can your children sponsor you as well?
Yes.
But they have to be a certain age.
But they have to be a certain age.
So yes. It's not, if you have young kids, they can't.
No.
Okay. And does your parent or siblings or spouse, do they need to be a U.S. citizen?
No, they can only, so they can also sponsor you if they are a permanent resident, but they are separate categories. So I'd love to remind people that this is in their best interest to apply for naturalization as soon as possible.
Everyone, become a citizen as soon as you can.
Yes.
Because you don't have rights as a green card holder.
Yes.
Right? So what about if you, the non-U.S. resident or citizen, are over 21 or married? Does that preclude you from being sponsored?
So if you are over 21 and or married, they can still apply for you, your family. It just places you in a different preference category.
And what does that mean?
So every person who applies is placed into a preference category, and that dictates when your application will be processed. Usually a higher preference is processed sooner. Plus, each category except for spouses of U.S. citizens has a limit, and each country has a limit of people they will process each year. So there are a lot of factors that determine the time it takes for your application to be processed.
Is there one that's processed most quickly?
Yes, in theory. The spouses and children of permanent residents are ones that are processed quickly among those categories that I was mentioning.
So, and not U.S. citizens, because those aren't in, that's a different category, right?
Yes, spouses and children of U.S. citizens are not subject to a cap and are processed as soon as possible.
Which, as you said the other day, can still be over 2 years, depending on which center their paperwork is being filed through, right?
Yes, in the last 2 years, these processing times have been increasing a lot. So right now, it can take over 2 years to sponsor your wife and children as a U.S. citizen.
And if that's the fast track, 2 years.
Yeah, fast track.
Right. What are the processing times for the other categories?
The next fastest is spouses and children of permanent residents, and they are currently processing those from December 2016. The slowest is as a brother or sister of a U.S. citizen, and they are now processing some from 2005. Unless you're from Mexico, then they're processing them from 1998. And the Philippines, 1995. So someone who applied for you in 1995, just now you are able to get your green card to come from Philippines. And you can find these numbers on, you can find it on the Department of State website by typing visa bulletin, and you can find all these processing times.
And we can put a link to that.
We'll put a link to that, yes.
So that sounds really discouraging.
And yes, it is. And I did have clients that were able to immigrate after 30 years. That's how long it took for them to get their green card.
So you also said that another of the 3 categories is an employer can sponsor you.
That's right. Although employment-based also includes those who can invest in a U.S. business or with a specialized job.
And are there also limits on how many of those people are granted a green card for employment every year?
There are, as well as limits for each country.
And then the third category, specialty categories, what does that mean?
This third category might include refugee, asylum seekers, diversity, lottery green cards, or victims of a crime. And I want to be sure that people understand that we are not listing every category possible because there are so many. So we are talking about the most common.
And you wanted to give people a few tips as well. What are they?
When you receive your priority date, that is the date USCIS received your application and started processing it, keep this as well as your receipt number. Also, if you move, please update your address as soon as possible, no later than 10 days with USCIS. You can do that online. And when possible, keep a record of everything that you submit or you receive from USCIS. And please do not provide original documents. Do not send them original documents. You need to make a copy and send them just the copies. They may ask for copies later, and you won't be able to give them if you don't have the document anymore. Plus, they don't send it back to you, the originals.
And we had someone who had gotten a green card and then was trying to get their citizenship, but they had given their document for the green card and they didn't have it anymore.
And they did that during the interview. So make sure you do not